Hey guys, Taylem here, and welcome back to my Skyrim modding series that all culminates in a kick-ass in-character playthrough that I hope each and every one of you join me for, because it is going to be a wild ride. Alright, now we've done the initial setup of Skyrim and we got the creation kit going. So what is next? Well, there are a few programs that we need to install and get set up. Don't worry, it's very easy. Before we install the powerful tool that is Mod Organizer. Alright, the first tool that we are going to install is Loot. Now, what Loot is, well, it's right there on the big blue stripe. It is a load order optimization tool. This is very important. In fact, it is probably one of the most important tools for modding Skyrim. So what you need to do is go ahead and click that big blue button that says download. Get that going. Go ahead and just scroll down, and you want to get the Loot installer. Let's do its thing. Download, and once it's done, go ahead and open her up. Now, as far as the installation location, you want to put that, you know what, wherever you want to, or this, it doesn't really matter where Loot is installed. For me personally, I like to keep things together. So I am going to stick this in my gaming utilities folder under Loot, and just click next. Loot does not need to be on an SSD. It can be on your HDD without a problem, because Loot only runs while you're optimizing the load order. It doesn't run during the game. So you can go ahead and just stick that anywhere you want. Let it go ahead and load up. You do not want to launch it. You don't need to do that. Don't need to worry about it. And click finish. Alright, that's all you need to do for Loot. If you want to, go ahead and peruse this little bit here. If all this rigmarole doesn't appeal to you, then just ignore it. You really don't need to worry about it. I will show you how to use Loot once we get to that step. It's very, very easy. It's a click of a few buttons. Maybe a little bit more if you have to do some personal flagging for some mod files, but other than that, it's relatively easy. If you can turn on a computer and you can navigate fairly well, then you can probably handle it. Don't doubt yourself. The next program we are going to install is TESVEdit, or as it will soon be called, FO4Edit. Now this is, of course, this is the Fallout 4 page for the Nexus, but the new version of TESVEdit is actually on this page. So I'll provide a link to it down below. You don't need to worry and freak out that this is not Skyrim. All the necessary tables and conversions are done with Skyrim within this version. It'll work just fine. Once you log into your Nexus Mods account, just jump over to Files right here and download FO4Edit. Alright, and once it's done, you open her up. You'll notice that it's still TESVEdit. They haven't renamed it because this is still in production for Fallout 4, but it is fully functional for Skyrim. So we just need to leave it as it is. And go ahead and extract it. Just like I did with Loot, I am going to place this in my games utilities folder. So I'm going to place it here in Skyrim programs, and I am going to put it in a TESVEdit folder. Therefore, it's separate and not mixed up with anything else, because you really don't want that. Alright, so that is done. Now, what TESVEdit is it is a tool. Let me click on this little picture so you can kind of see. It is a tool that allows you to resolve conflicts within your Skyrim game between mods, make changes outside the creation kit. It's actually a very, very powerful and very, very useful tool. Now, if you're nervous about stuff like this, don't worry. You won't have to use it that much, but if you're a little bolder and you want to experiment, then this is the tool for you to learn. There's some great videos out there for you to watch by Gopher, to be specific. I will provide a link down below to some of those videos. I suggest, if you really have an interest in using this tool beyond what I'm going to show you, that you watch those videos. Just make sure that you're careful, because if you screw something up, you're going to have to reinstall whatever mod that you destroyed. So just letting you know. All right, let's go ahead and close this. And we're done with that one. Now let me drag over the next one here. Now what this is a merge patch plugin. What this will do is it'll create it's an executable that you run from within Mod Organizer that automatically triggers TESVEdit and allows you to merge mods together. Because Skyrim by default cannot load more than 255 mods at any one given time. And if most of those mods are script heavy, chances are you won't get remotely close to the 255 limits. Anyway, what this does, it allows you to take a lot of teeny tiny little mods that really only have very small ESP files and allows you to merge all those into one. So you have a much smaller load order for your Skyrim game. Again, this is much like TESVEdit. You just go ahead and download it. Donate if you want. These guys work hard to provide us with these free tools. So a couple of things to change or $1 here and there. It goes a long way. As you can see here, this is not an installation, an installer. It is actually an archive. So you have to extract it to its own folder. So I'm going to put this in my Skyrim programs folder just to keep everything together. And I'm going to call this merge plugins, just like it's called, and just click OK, let it do a thing, and done. That's all you need to do for this one. Boom. All right, now the next one we're going to do is one of the most important. Now what this is SKSE. This is the script extender for Skyrim. Without this, 99.9% of mods will not work. Because what this does is it allows Skyrim to do a lot more things that the base game is not capable of. So what we're going to do is we're going to download the archive. Do not download the archive, the installer, or install via Steam. Just go ahead and download the archive real quick. Alright, now this is going to be a little bit different than the other ones because we're going to do some special changes for this. I will provide a link down below to the great Gopher and a video that he made that covers this. So if I'm not quite clear enough for you, you can watch that video and get the full picture. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to open this up. And right here, let's just, we can close this now. Let's just pull this whole thing to our desktop. Alright. Now if you open up the SKSE folder, you will notice it has a few files, some text files, a CRC, and a data folder. Now, the CRC folder you do not need. That is for compiling. You can actually just delete that if you want. And also all these documents, these here, get rid of them. Don't need them no more. Alright, so this is the next step that we're going to do. This is a two-parter. These 3 files here, go ahead and select them and copy, cut, however you like to do it. I'm just going to cut them. And you are going to drop these directly into your Skyrim installation folder. Right here where you got your Skyrim launcher and the TESVEdit. Just go ahead and paste them right in there and boom, there they are. You want to drop them in there. Now once that's done, you will have just your data folder left. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to take this data folder here and you want to create an archive. Just add it to an archive. You can use WinRAR, you can use 7-zip, whatever program you want to use. You just want to create an archive of this script. I'm not even going to bother compressing it because it's just storing it. There's no reason to do it. And make this a zip file. And I'm going to call it SKSE 1_07_3 scripts.zip. Just click on OK. Do his little thing. And here you got this right here. I am going to drag this to my... I'm going to put that in my downloads folder. Put it somewhere where you're going to remember because we are going to use this file right here later. Once we get Mod Organizer installed and set up, this will be the first thing that we install with Mod Organizer. The reason why we're doing it this way is that it allows you to disable or enable the scripts and not put these loose scripts inside your vanilla install of Skyrim. It's to keep everything nice and clean. So just go ahead and throw that in your downloads folder, your My Documents folder, wherever you will remember where it's at. And once you do this thing here, you can go ahead and just delete it. See, I just copied it over. See, I still got this one here, and then I got a copy here. So you can double click it to make sure that everything's there. So this here, I can just delete and gone. Alright guys, now that we have installed the majority of the programs we need, we're going to go ahead and do the last program right before Mod Organizer. Now this program is Wrye Bash. Some of you are going like, another one? Well, yes, another one. This is a pretty important one because Skyrim requires a bash file to really pull everything together at the end of your load order. So we're going to go ahead and download it. You can go ahead and just grab the installer here. All right. Go ahead and click next. You want to have this install for Skyrim checked. It is going to put it in your Skyrim installation directory. Just make sure that this is correct. And click next. And install. Next. You can leave this checked if you want. Really, it's not a big deal. And there we go. Done. And now, finally, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mod Organizer. Yes, here we are right here with the program of the hour, Mod Organizer, the greatest tool in the history of modding, Mod Organizer. So once you go ahead and download the installer, get that puppy going. It is an absolutely fantastic program. I believe Mod Organizer single-handedly made modding beyond awesome. I mean, it was always fantastic, but this just makes it all that much better. All right, let's go ahead and install it. Now, because Mod Organizer, if you want to use this for Fallouts, etc., you have to do a separate installation of Mod Organizer for each and every single one. So what I suggest you do, and this is also suggestions that I learned from Gopher himself, is you want to install this within your Skyrim installation. Therefore, it's all nice and isolated and nothing gets crisscross. So why don't you just go ahead and slap this into your Skyrim folder, and it should make its own Mod Organizer folder automatically, and just click install. Let it do its business. All right, uncheck that and click finish. I am going to make a shortcut on my desktop. Just for ease, just to get to it real quick. You don't really have to do that if you don't want to. Just for me, I'm going to do it. Alright, once you are ready, go ahead and open that sucker up. Now you do get a message of the day here. It's always a good idea to peruse it real quick. Just click OK. And if this is the first time you run a Mod Organizer, you will get this tutorial prompt. I recommend that you click yes if you've never used Mod Organizer before. It'll just make your life a bit easier. But I'm going to click no because I have used it before. And here we are inside the default setup for Mod Organizer. Now if you go over here real quick, if you look at this pull down, you will see that our SKSE, our loot, and our creation kit are automatically in here. That's because we installed them before we installed Mod Organizer. So it found them and added them to our command list automatically, which makes it much easier. But before we get to sprucing this up and adding the few things that are not in there, we're going to go ahead and do some initial setup that I find relevant and important. So go up here and click on the wrench and the screwdriver. All right. Now, for style, there's four if you count the none. But there's basically 4 choices you have for the layout. Here we have the none. Fusion kind of basically looks just like the none, but it has these little color lines every other one. I personally don't care for that one. Then there's dark, which I find spectacular. It's mine preference. And then there's Dracula, which is essentially kind of a mixture between the dark and the fusion. But I'm gonna go with the dark one myself, just because it by far looks the best. See, it just, for my eyes at least, it just looks much better. So once you choose whichever style you want, go ahead and go back into the settings window. There's a few more things that we're going to do. Here in the advanced button here, go ahead and check that. Now, if you have an SSD and instead of an HDD for the installation of Skyrim and Mod Organizer, I really suggest that you make these couple changes that I am doing. There's 3 things here. The download directory, this is where Mod Organizer places the archives of your downloaded mods. This is just storage. So what you want to do is you want to place this link not here on your SSD. You want it to be on an HDD, something that you use for storage. So I'm just going to go over to Game Utilities, and see, I already made, I'm going to actually drag that into there. I already made on their Skyrim programs a Mod Organizer folder where I have downloads, and just select it and boom, it'll put all my downloads in my F drive, which is an HDD. Now for the mod directory, this is where Mod Organizer installs the mod. These are the files that are going to be accessed. So these you want to have on an SSD, and you can go ahead and just leave it at the default location that it is. There's really no need to change it unless for some reason you want to. I would recommend just leaving it exactly as it is. Now for the cache directory, this is all the information that links to the Nexus for the mods. You know, it's page and text files and all that other stuff. I am going to put this where I put the downloads, right here in the Game Utilities, Skyrim Programs, Mod Organizer, Web Cache. Now I pre-made these, so you're gonna have to make them yourself. And there we go, boom. That way all the stuff that isn't relevant to actually running the game is not on my SSD taking space. It's over there on the HDD, nice, good, and stored away. All right, so next thing we're going to do is over here in this Nexus part. What you want to do is you want to check that, and you want to put in your username and password for your Nexus login. Don't worry, this is safe. The reason being is you want to automatically be logged in, so when you download mods from the Nexus, it'll go right to Mod Organizer, and Mod Organizer will be able to recognize which mod it is and provide the relevant information for that mod. So you want that login to be there. Go ahead and click on Associate Download with Manager Links. We checked out box during the install, but just in case you forgot or just for giggles, go ahead and click it again. It's not that much of a big deal. And we're going to go over here to Steam. Don't use this one. It's not exactly the most safe for Steam login, so I would avoid just using this altogether. There's no real reason for you to do it. There are other ways to integrate the Steam Workshop install into your profiles. It's a few extra steps, but if you really want something that's only on the workshop, they are steps that you will have to take. So just leave that login off. And then jump over here to plugins. Plug it in, plug it in. And there's 2 changes we're going to make here. Up here at the BSA extractor, we're going to go ahead and turn that to true. Now, in case you're wondering, BSA is Skyrim's archive file system. These are what mods that are packed in the BSA use to take all their files, make them in one nice little package for easy installation or for not creating too much clutter. But for the way Mod Organizer works and with profiles, we want those BSAs extracted. Why? Because access is much faster when they're loose files versus BSA. And with Skyrim, it's all about speed and fluidity. We want it running at its best and as smoothly as possible. So let's get those BSAs extracted. Now, the next thing we're going to change real quick is basic diagnose plugin. Let's skip on over to check mod order. We want that to false. We do not want any form of plugin checking our mod load order for us and screwing things up. Just check that over to false. And on the last tab, workarounds, just make sure this number here is 52.2 or higher. It should by default be higher, but in case it's not, zip it up higher. That's all you need to do. Boop. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our classic or vanilla, however you like to phrase the default game profile. Something that's unmolested and perfectly clean, exactly as Bethesda designed it to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to click over here on the little gears. Actually, we're not going to click on the little gears. We're going to click on the little ID card here. See, these are our profiles. This is the default profile that comes with the game. Just leave it alone for right now. Make sure these two boxes here are unchecked, by the way. You don't want to utilize these at this point. Local save games I use later on for individual profiles, but we'll go into that down the road. So let's go ahead and go to create, and let's just go ahead and call this, you can call it classic Skyrim or vanilla Skyrim. I like the term classic as opposed to vanilla. Default game settings, leave that unchecked and click OK. Perfect. And we can go ahead and switch over to our classic Skyrim. And now we're in the classic Skyrim profile. So at this point, we can just go back to this default one and remove it. We do not need it. Get rid of it. All right, so now we have the basic setup. We have our initial vanilla profile, but we are not quite done. There are still a few things that we need to take care of. Now, the first thing is to do, we need to fix our load order. In case you didn't notice, it is completely out of whack. This is not how it needs to be. This is completely out of order. In fact, this is out of order. What you need to do is you need to make sure the DLCs here are ordered by their release. Dawnguard was the first DLC, so this needs to go up at the top. Then followed by Hearthfires, and then by Dragonborn. And these as well need to be 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. Now, over here, this is your actual load order. And it is a mess. It is not in the order it is supposed to be. So what you need to do is scroll down here to loot. Now, I like to create a shortcut on my toolbar. So boom, so it's right here. So I don't have to use the scroll down to find what I need. So you can, if you want to, you can go ahead and add one to your toolbar if you want. How you do that is, you click on loot here and then go click on toolbar and it'll add it if it's not there. Let's go ahead and run loot. It'll go ahead and check for the newest information. All right, now see, this is the file itself. This shows you all the mods and ESPs that are in your load order at current. This is the plugin list over here. And this here, you can click on this to update the master list. It usually does it by default, but in case you don't remember seeing this pop up, you can go ahead and just click on that and let it do its little thing. All right, once the load order has been updated and whatnot, you'll notice that you have some of these warnings here where it talks about it needing to be cleaned. You can go ahead and just ignore these for now. This is something that we will be taking care of in a step that's not too far off. But for now, all I need you to do is go up here to where it says sort plugins and give it a good click. Let it do its thing. And click apply. Now what it did is it properly sorted the ESMs and the ESPs as required by their release dates. So you can go ahead and close it, and as you can see, this resorted and it is good to go. Now as it stands right now, this is an almost perfect classic Skyrim setup. This is how the game is meant to be played raw, and this is going to be the foundation for building any profiles in the future, because you always want to build a profile off of stock vanilla profile. Alright, now what we're going to do right now is we're going to add a few of the programs that weren't added here, mainly Wrye Bash and TESVEdit. So we're going to click on the, if you click on this bar, go to Edit. Alright, what we're going to do is you need to go to the binary of your install. So we're going to go to TESVEdit, click on it, click Open, and let's go ahead TESVEdit, and go ahead, click Add. Bloop. And we now have our TESVEdit available. Let's put a shortcut on the toolbar, even though it does have the Fallout Boy on it because it's being prepped for Fallout 4, but it still works well with Skyrim. So once you go ahead and open it, click on it, what it'll do is it'll bring up a list of Skyrim and all the ESPs. And when you click on OK, it'll allow you to open those files up and see what's inside, and maybe make some changes if you so desired, which you don't ever really want to do with these files. You create ESPs to amend these. Alright, now we are going to go back here and go to Edit, and we are going to add Wrye Bash. Now if you recall, this was installed within your Skyrim installation folder. So we're going to jump over to there. Skyrim. Alright. And it's under Mopey. Right there, Wrye Bash. Click Open. Go ahead and give it a name. And click Add. Boom. Go ahead and scroll down to it. I want to add it to my toolbar so it's nice and available. We got to make sure that this profile is stable and is able to run. So you're going to go to your SKSE executable here, and you're going to click Run, because we want to start up the game and make sure that everything appears to be kosher. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright guys, if you're here with me at the loading screen, the main menu of Skyrim, you will know that SKSE is working and everything is tippity-top for your default Skyrim profile. So you can go ahead and exit out of the game. Alright guys, so we've run our default profile of Skyrim and everything is tippity-top. Now let's go on to the next step. You might notice the little yellow broom that are next to these files. This means that these ESPs are empty. Now, why are they empty? Because their sole purpose was just to direct the game to the archive, the BSA, that contained upgraded graphics. But because we are having Mod Organizer manage these archives, that means it is taking care of these. We do not need to utilize these, thus opening up 3 slots of our load order. Now it's crisp and clean and out of the way. You guys can actually, if you want, you can delete these from your Skyrim install, or just select them and drag them to a backup folder within Skyrim, just so they're not here on the list. It's really up to you. That's normally how I do it. But if you ever choose to verify your Skyrim installation, Steam will put those back. So it's really up to you. It's not going to affect it either way. I just like my load orders to look clean, so I get rid of them. Simple as that. And how you would do that is, you can just close this. You would just go into your Skyrim installation folder. And it's going to be in data. Find the ESPs, not the BSAs, just the ESPs, and just hit the delete key, or copy them to a backup. I personally just delete them because I'm just crazy like that. But it's really up to you how you decide you want to do it. All right, let's go ahead and let me get Mod Organizer back open here. See, now they're gone, and it's crisp and clean and perfect and ready for the next step. We have to clean the Skyrim ESMs. If you notice when we ran loot, you remember those yellow bars that says, hey, we got some ITM, some dirty edits. We got to get rid of those. So we're going to solve that issue. Well, that is a tale for another video. So thank you for joining me for this one, and I look forward to jumping into more of the nitty-gritty of modding Skyrim. Alright guys, this is Taylem, and I will see you later.